and you know where it is, but police won't go and get it back.
Yeah, a Portland man says that's what's happening to him right now in a case that really could affect all of us. K2's Carrie Tomlinson with us now. Why can't police just go get the car?
That is a good question, and that is the big question. This car is not just any car. It's a high-performance muscle car. And what comes out of this case could change what happens to you if your car or your property is stolen in the future. He was a drag racer 40 years back.
It was an awesome car.
This 1970 Cuda at Portland International Raceway caught on film for just a few seconds.
It moved. It would scare you.
It won races in its class. But Rick and Jackie White say more than anything, it was part of their family.
I've got 44 years of my life invested in this car.
Rick bought it new in 1970. He thought he would keep it forever, he says. But one day in 2001, he went out to the garage.
The garage door had been busted into, and the car was gone. You're just standing there going, what?
Stolen, he says, their beloved Cuda. They filed a police report and began to search at shows and swap meets, handing out cards, asking for any signs of the car.
It was a very upsetting time. It was hard to even think about it being gone.
But it was gone for 13 years until last month, and this.
Absolutely shocked.
A letter from this place, Budget Towing in Northeast Portland. The letter said their car was in storage here, but the man storing it owed thousands in fees. If those fees did not get paid, the car would go up for auction. The Whites say the letter came to them because the DMV lists them as the owners.
Years advertising, looking, watching, and all of a sudden, here it is.
They called Budget Towing to claim their long-lost car, but Budget told them the man storing it, Lee Sitton, had paid up and taken the car back. The Whites called police.
It's stolen property. Go get it.
But that is where the story of the stolen Cuda gets a lot more complicated.
Why wouldn't the cops get our car? It's very mind-boggling.
They have the title to the car and the police report from 2001, but they say officers told them they can't take the car back.
Well, how come the police don't have a warrant to go in and get my property?
We asked police.
It's figuring out what legally can we do in this case.
Sergeant Pete Simpson says the problem is the statute of limitations, 3 years, has run out. And with no crime to prosecute, he says, police can't just get a warrant and get the car like you might think.
That feels like the right answer, but what's the law that supports that answer? We certainly don't want to go take someone's property to give it to someone else and find out that we legally had no authority to do that. I mean, we can't do that as law enforcement officers.
Wow, so someone can just steal something of mine, hold on to it for 10 years, and it's theirs.
And that's the part we're trying to figure out, too, because it doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem right to us. We need to find the relevant laws that help us answer that question, because it isn't something we normally run into.
Simpson says investigators are trying to figure out how to solve this unusual case. There is one more factor to this. Lee Sitton, the man who was storing the car at Budget Towing. He lives at this large gated estate near Troutdale, and he's listed with the state as head of AAC General Contractors in Gresham. Police say he has the car. We wanted to talk to you about the 1970 Cuda.
I basically don't have anything to say about the car.
Sitton says he bought it years back and has a bill of sale. Where is the car?
So, thank you. See you.
Here's your chance to tell your side of the story.
There isn't any side to the story because as far as I'm concerned, there's no story, really. The story will be determined later. There's no story now.
He disputes the idea the car was stolen, but when it comes to the hard questions, he hangs up. So you're saying the car was not stolen 13 years ago?
I don't believe the car was stolen, no.
You're saying the couple is lying?
See ya.
That means he never answered our other questions. Okay. Like, who did he buy the car from? And why did he never title it? Which Oregon law says you have to do within 30 days of buying a car.
It's a matter of, I've got your property, nah.
For Rick and Jackie, it's painful and frustrating. They have the title, the keys, and memories going back more than 40 years. But the car itself?
Just return the car. Bring the car back and walk away.
So police say there are a lot of issues at play here. For example, did the buyer know it was stolen when he bought it? Did he buy it in good faith? Well, if so, this could all end up in civil court. The Whites believe it's outrageous. They should have to fight and pay legal fees for a car they say is theirs.
Boy, you can feel the frustration just watching this story.
Right, and what's coming out of this is new ground for police,
Yes.
they say. So what comes out of this could affect what happens to all of us. If someone steals something from you, holds on to it past the statute of limitations, do you get it back?
Even if you do everything right, you've got the paperwork, the police report, frustration.
Yep, we'll find out what happens.
Carrie, thank you. And if there's an issue you think the K2 Problem Solvers should look into, contact